Alright, world of YouTube, Archie here at another place for history of Leominster today. Another category I was thinking to put up on my YouTube channel is, of course, history, and I wanted to do this building. And lately I'm been beginning to start to get a little freaked out of what I've been doing for ghost hunting and stuff, and this is going to put a damper on my videos I've been making. Due to the, I've been started off with the King Philip War. What was it? At least, a month ago or so? At least a month. Maybe even more. I mean, like I said, I have looked up the King Philip War before. But doing the videos and finally getting the book in my hands, which has probably been 2 months, something came up with that, which was the tribe in Taunton that is actually looking to get rights to get a casino there, I believe. And that, I don't know if I'm saying the name right. If not, I'll have to write it in the description or whatnot. But the Whittamapog tribe, which is the actual remaining family members of King Philip himself, the great chief Metacom. And like I said, there I was looking up, finally do videos for it, and they show up coming out of the woodwork. I mean, I've also seen stuff like a bridge in Worcester on Route 9 they just finished. It's been in the process of 3 years or something being built. But on there they have the Nutmuck tribe, if I'm saying it correctly. I'm probably not. Like I said, if I don't use a word too much, I don't get it right. But they also put a plaque on the bridge for that tribe in Worcester. Like I said, everything that's popping up around me because I'm doing my videos, it's fucking nuts. And now this comes up in the paper 2 days ago. And before I mention what this was and the word that they used in the newspaper for it, I just had gotten a book 2 weeks ago from my father. Another book, like the King Philip War book, the great powwow he gave me, because I was asking him about questions, because he was always looking up stuff himself in history. But he gives me this other book, and it's a woman from New England, Dartmouth, Mass. And in the book, she talks about forerunners. Now, forerunners, back in the day that she started writing, not F-O-U-R, like the vehicle forerunner, but it's F-O-R-E, runner, forerunner. And forerunners, back in the day when this woman started talking about it in her book, it's got to do with ghosts that come before your death. Now, I don't know how many people of today have had this happen, and if it had happened and they died and they can't get the story out, but back then the people were telling stories before they died, and a couple of them I'd like to mention due to the forerunner death. It's all got to do, like I said, with you seeing yourself before you die. Now, it's not exactly entirely like you. It is a figure that matches your description. It don't look like you, but it could look like, one story is a guy and his friend were walking home from a party one night, and they what was it? One guy saw a figure. No, they both saw a figure coming from a fence on a street they were walking on. And this figure was white. It looked just, they thought it was just some, unordinary freak of nature, you would say. And after at least about I'd say about 20 minutes to maybe a half an hour, they finally got the nerve to walk up to this thing that kept following. Now, the strangest thing about this and what it was doing was of the unordinary. It was freaky as all hell as you're reading it in the book, as it's dipping and hopping fences. It would just do unordinary things a normal person would do. So they said, hell with it. They both got up the nerve and started asking each other if they wanted to go up to it and figure out who it was that was following them. It kept following them. Finally they did. They went to it. And the thing was just stone cold dead with a white face, no eyes, black eyes or something. It looked like it had no eyes. It was just freaky as all hell as they explained it. Not 10 to 15 years later, I think it might have been. That might have been, no, I would say maybe 4 years later. The 10 or 50s on the year is another story I'm going to say. But it was like 3 years later, or maybe even 3 months. I forgot, go figure, I forget the time, but whatever. That guy died. The friend that was with him saw this thing, went to the man's funeral or wake. And when he went to the wake, he looked identical to the person that was following him. And that's a forerunner. If you are going to die, you will see your figure not exactly like you, but similar to you. And that's what the guy saw when he went to visit his friend at the, the wake. The second story of the forerunner story from this book is a woman. I think it might have been a mother and a daughter. I'm trying to think, but there was two women. One was holding a baby, and the figure was holding a baby. The two women were in a house, and it might have been the woman that wrote the book, but it was her mother or her aunt or something. Now, this aunt was looking at this figure in the window, and she was saying, "Hey, that looks like me," and it was holding a baby. At the time, this woman that said that the aunt or mother or whatever it was not holding a baby, but she just said, "Hey, that looks like me." This is the one that was 15 years later. That same woman who said, "Hey, that looks like me," died with a baby in her arms. So them two stories right there is to give you a figure of what a forerunner is, and that's what the book is about. I haven't finished it yet, but them are the first few stories I got, and there's more in there I gotta go over. I am gonna go over the book in another video, but what does it have to do with this, you ask? Well, in the newspaper the other day when I read it, the article, they said something about a forerunner, and I'm gonna put the picture of the article in my thumbnail picture, so if you want to download it and look at it and see what it says, or look at it on it, whatever, you can do that, and then you're gonna see why I am here now today. Forerunner, which I don't know why they put the forerunner in that title, because of the fact of what it means is what I just told you about the two stories I said. And I don't know why they would put it in this, because this now once was a old toy factory in 1886. And they, in that year, was a time, not to get confused with a Ouija board, they started production in this building of the witch board. And at the time, the President of the United States received, because he was the first president ever in history to get married in the White House, and these people here that own this toy company thought it would be funny or a joke or whatnot to send the president at that time who got married a witch board. They got a letter back from the president saying they would never use it, but he will keep it, as a gift and momentum and a thank you and all that. And that's how the story is now. Of course, as I say, the shit coming out with the forerunner, the Indian stuff with the Indian tribe coming on the news, and I don't know if this is a goddamn sign or not, but I am starting to get freaked out on what I'm doing, because it's like something's connecting with me And to give me all this listing and history is just fucking insane. I might be insane, but this is more insane. And just to think that, yeah, here at this place, someone thought of, and at that time they said in 1886, the United States literally was going through some dark times. So who, in of course, in the 1800s, you got the, notorious Jack the Ripper. And reading up on that, Jack the Ripper originally came from, I believe it was Vermont, Mass. Excuse me. Vermont, the state Vermont, sorry. And yeah, he had some issues though going on around here in Boston area. And yeah, then like they said, the world was going through some dark times. And when that story evolved, and they're saying that the Henry Holmes was the first serial killer, they tied him to maybe being around the Jack the Ripper era. And that only can explain of what dark times they're talking about. And where everybody was dying at that time, and crazy shit going on back then. And it's only proven and known if you look up in the history of, like I have. And these people just thought it would be funny or whatnot to come out with the witchboard to connect with their dead. But the story goes, the witchboard disappeared. It came out with another name, which I can't pronounce it at all, and I can't remember it. I didn't bring the newspaper article, but the Ouija board took over anyways later on and became one of the most best-selling spiritual board anyway. So the witchboard would have died out anyways, but to know that it was made here in Leominster, Mass, and how dark times was, I would love to get a hold of an original and start doing some old ghost hunting off of that. But I also have a Ouija board anyways, but I'm missing the piece that you connect with on the board. I'm looking to find one of them, but mine is made from Salem, Mass. And you can just imagine, and it says made in Salem, Mass on it. And I need to look into the story of who William Fuld, F-U-L-D, Fuld is. William Fuld is the creator of that board. I remember me and my buddy were messing around with it on that one time and asked him who God was, or Jesus or whatever, and the board went right to William Fuld's name. So that only goes to show that. I mean, I believe that shit, it works, because I was at another house playing one night, and the windows were all closed, there was no drafts. We had a candle up, and that candle literally wiggled and then eventually blew out. So I mean, these boards do work if you know how to use them properly. And a witch board I love to get on, but other than that, like I said, the connection between this looking up stuff or doing my own stuff, and then all of a sudden it comes up in another article, and then I'm so close to home to this shit, it just literally freaks me out anyways. But anyways, this is a history video. Whether or not someone died in this place, I'll be calling the town hall. Maybe get see what they got in here, because it is for sale. Would like to get this and make a house out of it. But that's my wacky style of living and thinking. Anyways, I had to throw this in. Of course, everything's coming in between me and the other videos that I'm doing, but like the King Philip War. But I just found out that I can't do no videos on Mount Wachusett unless I get a damn permission from this guy. So I'm looking for this guy to get back to me so I can start getting into my King Philip War. But then again, all this stuff coming in between is holding me over, and I might not be able to get up there anyways, because fucking Mount Wachusett's closed down now for the season. The only way I can get up there is climb, and that'd take all goddamn day, and Other than that, YouTube, another place of history of Mass in Leominster. Other than that, till the next video, YouTube out.